Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your Washington Commanders update, and I'm your host, Candi CWall checking in. As you all know, I love to do all throughout the season and calendar year to give you the latest and greatest information on the Washington Commanders. If you are watching this on Bowie TV, which comes on Comcast throughout Prince George's County, Maryland, on channels 190 or 1097, or if you are diving in and watching on YouTube, welcome, welcome, welcome. You all may have heard or you already know that I do lives the day after the game at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless otherwise noted or changed due to travel or anything of the sort. But this one, I'm coming to you all straight up. It is week one. We've been through the first week of the regular season practices. I've been engaged, on site in Ashburn all throughout the OTA, rookie camp, OTA, training camp season, just like every year. And here we are in the regular season. Definitely got some nuggets, some information, all the things that I want you all to be paying attention to as the Washington Commanders take on the New York Giants week one at Northwest Stadium, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. It is a sellout crowd. Hopefully, and I'm definitely banking on this, right? Seeing more Commanders fans there than Giants fans. So hopefully that is the case indeed. So let's go ahead and just dive right on in, shall we? Let's just go right on into some of the points of emphasis, if you will, that I've noted throughout the week. Some of the things that I'm going to be focused on that I wanted to share with you all. So when you all are doing what? We love to play this game, regardless of live episode or you're seeing it later. We love to use your clues. Make sure you have your notebook and your pen, because I'm constantly saying this is something that I'm going to be paying attention to, and I want you all to note that because it's a very important point. So let's go ahead and move on. The season has already started. We have seen the NFC East, the both division rivals or the other division rivals. You're taking on one tomorrow. Now we saw them really battle, right? The Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys really get nasty, right? As soon as the game even started. I don't know about you all, but I hadn't even turned on my TV yet, and there was already drama. So with that being said, one of the questions I asked Dan Quinn this week, or Commanders head coach Dan Quinn this week, was about unsportsmanlike conduct. I know, and you all have probably heard, that the NFL is doing a lot to crack down on unsportsmanlike conduct. So I asked Dan Quinn about that, and if he had spoken to the team about that. Check out his response here.
Hey, Coach. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
So the league is doing a lot to alleviate and, quite frankly, stop unsportsmanlike conduct. So have you talked to the team about that at all?
Yes. Yeah, we, in fact, Fridays, we do a lot of game management. What's the emphasis? And so around the league, whether it's taunting, so we showed some, the examples that they threw two last night, ones from previous games last year. And so through Troy, that's been a big emphasis. So we do that one, as well as, like the illegal formations one. So go back through that again. We want to emphasize the things that the referees are emphasizing. Like if they're emphasizing it, well, guess what? It's probably going to be called. And so we try to stay on top of that to go. But yeah, it's something that we do. Fridays is our day that we dedicate kind of to winning time, game management. We go around the league. And this, because it was the first week, we also did like the emphasis from the referees through the off season. Hey, this was emphasized, like own this.
So listen, you saw what happened in Thursday night football. Got to see some Friday night football too, with the LA Chargers taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. So, hey, listen, things get chippy. Everybody knows this. It's a tough sport. Emotions are flying high. We know this. But hey, the league is calling things, and in no way, shape, or form, I'm sure, would any of you all want, or even, of course, most importantly, right, the Commanders want to put their team at jeopardy. So glad to know that, yes, they are talking about it, and in what way they're talking about it, right? How are they discussing it? Being able to take a look at what the league is calling and what they're emphasizing is key. It's going to be high emotions. We all know this. And we know that the Washington Commanders have been in some chippy moments last season. So just to think it through, hey, that could be a penalty, and that could be a penalty in the wrong way. So definitely never want to give the opponent something that they can already have an edge up on the Commanders at any time, not just in week one, but at any time. Now, getting into week one, shall we? Hopefully you all are subscribed to the Bowie TV YouTube channel. Hopefully, if you're in Prince George's County, Maryland, you're able to tune in if you are a Comcast subscriber on channels 190 and 1097, but you are watching Bowie TV. This is the Coaching from the Couch series, the Washington Commanders update. I am your hostess with the mostest, hopefully, Candi CWall Waller, checking in, sharing all of my updates from my on-site coverage of the Washington Commanders. Now, let's get into the week one opponent, New York Giants. I asked Dan Quinn about the strengths of that team.
And when you take a look at the New York Giants, what are some of the strengths that you've seen or just know about overall on their team?
Yeah, well, I thought it doesn't take long to figure out, you see in the talent at defensive line and at receiver, just speed, athleticism, strength and size. Being with my defensive background, I like, the different combinations that they have. And then the same thing at receiver, guys that can take the top off. They got guys with size. So those are the things that, make me, when I first think of them, when we're going through the off season, what they can do and how they feature players like that. So there's always a little unknown going into the first game. And, but, just like, when I referred to earlier, division games, our won 2 games last year within 1 score and a walk-off. So those are moments that, you got to stay ready. And I think it's kind of fun to have a division game right off the bat. Like these 2 teams been battling for over 90 years. So let's get ready to rumble again.
So listen, this isn't an easy game at all. You heard Coach Quinn note the defensive line, right, and the receivers. So earlier in the week, Coach Quinn was asked specifically about the Giants' defensive line.
Dan, you're a defensive line guy. What stands out about the Giants' defensive front?
A lot. And I think the speed, I really am impressed by that. I like the action. I like, their investment into that group. They've got, Dexter, who's got great size and power, and they got speed out on the edges. So I think probably the combination of the two is what I like about them. When you have 3 jets that you can use in different spots, you can try to create matchups to do that. And so I sense that's, where they're headed, but it's a really strong group.
Super duper strong group, and going up against the Commanders' offensive line, rookie Josh Connolly Jr. will get his start at right tackle. He earned the spot. We talked to Coach Quinn even back in April at the owners' meetings, where he shared that, there would be some battles, right? All throughout the offensive line. We see Josh Connolly Jr., as many would suspect, but for sure now, yes, Josh Connolly Jr. will be starting at right tackle. I asked Jaden Daniels because, hey, here's the reality. When you are the first round pick, there are a lot of expectations of you. So I asked Jaden Daniels his perspective on Josh Connolly Jr.
Hey, Jaden. So, you were this team's first round pick last year. This year, Josh Connolly, maybe people didn't know that, but anyway, Josh Connolly Jr., this year's first rounder. What have you seen in Josh Connolly Jr.? And have you just had kind of that the first rounder conversation? And I know he's getting his start this weekend.
Yeah, people are going to see what he's made of. And obviously he's different. I was playing quarterback. They're trying to sack me. People are going to try to go after him and see what he's made of. So rightfully so, because you got a more experienced guy with Laramie on the other side. So everybody wants to see what the rookie's about. So kind of just, telling him that. He already knows, but the kid is very competitive, super quiet, doesn't really talk a lot. Always got like a mean mug to his self. So I try to get him to smile a little bit more, have fun, which I know he is. But that's kind of just why I told him, go out there, be free, have fun. But just know at the end of the day, people are going to try to come after you, try to expose you because they know it's your first one, and they might not think you're ready, but I know he is.
Jaden Daniels knows that Josh Connolly Jr. is ready. So then we should all know as well, right, that Josh Connolly Jr. is ready. But exactly what Jaden Daniels said, they're going to try him. Okay? So keep your eyes open for that. Will they easily try Laramie Tunsil? No. Will they easily try Josh Connolly Jr.? You better bet it. So with this very stout Giants defensive line, that right side, which is something that I've been continuously talking about all throughout the summer. You all have heard me mention this on shows that I'm on this show. Keep your eyes open for that one, right? And hey, listen, he's not going to win all of them, but at least he can get in there, and most is going to be trial by fire, but it is what it is. Again, first round pick, high expectations. Here we are, week 1. We will absolutely see what Josh Connolly Jr. is made of in the game moments. And I think things will go fairly well. Now, I'm not saying he's going to win everything because they are going to try him a lot. But hey, they putting him out there that lets you know it's ready. I remember there was a Brandon Coleman rookie, last year too. And they tried him as well, and he held his own. And he wasn't the first rounder, but even still, just the point of even a rookie on the offensive line can hold their own. I expect Josh Connolly Jr. to do the exact same thing. Don't forget and always be reminded that this is the pick that Cliff Kingsbury wrote a note to Adam Peters and said, get this one, please. So it's showtime. It is absolutely showtime. But if you see me smiling like this, it's because if you all are excited, then guess what? I'm excited too, because we've been watching it all summer. I'm like, hey, let's see what happens here. Great test for the rookie against this Giants defensive line. Now, Coach Quinn mentioned the receivers, right? The Giants receivers. Also mentioned, of course, as we've been continuing to talk about, the Giants defensive line. Coach Joe Witt Jr., the Commanders' defensive coordinator, was asked about Russell Wilson. We know that this is basically an entirely new look quarterback room for the Giants. There's Russell Wilson. We know that there's rookie Jackson Dart. We know that there's veteran Jameis Winston. Presumably, right? Russell Wilson should be getting the start. He's at QB1. Rookie Jackson Dart is at QB2. But Coach Witt was asked about Russell Wilson because please, let's all not forget, as many people like to say that he is washed up. Well, he sure enough led the Pittsburgh Steelers to a victory over the Washington Commanders last year. Now, of course, I have different opinions on how they actually won that game, right? Some unnecessary penalties throughout the game and a muffed punt or a fumble on a return helped. But at any rate, still, whatever you like to call it, it happened, and Russell Wilson was quarterback 1 for the Steelers. He is quarterback 1 for the New York Giants in week 1. Check out Coach Witt's response on Russell Wilson.
Talked about Russ's deep ball ability, kind of throws that moon ball. Is he still able to drop it in the bucket at this point of his career like he was previously? And how hard is that to defend?
He hit one against us last year, and won the damn game. So it was a bad call by me. And so because I understand, I know I've been against him enough to know that that's what he does best. And make that call in that situation wasn't very smart. So, no, he can do it. That's what he does best. He throws the ball really good outside the numbers deep. He gives his guys a chance to go make a play, and not just gives them a chance to make a play. He places it very well on those deep balls. So he's one of the best that's done it, and he's done it for a very, very long time.
Shout out to Coach Witt, because he is always so transparent, as well as all the coaches are when they're like, bad call by me. But listen, there's no need to sleep on this game at all. And like he said, hey, you should already know that Russell Wilson is great at the deep ball. Coach Quinn mentioned their receivers over on the Giants side. So that could potentially be something, a lot of something that this team needs to be looking out for. Speaking of the Giants receivers, Coach Witt Jr. was asked about the secondary. So make a note of this as well, and check out Coach Joe Witt Jr.'s response about the Commanders secondary.
Talk about the secondary. I swear this is not a game plan question.
Okay.
But last year, you guys, and candidly, didn't always have enough maybe cornerbacks out there to feel comfortable to do what you said you wanted to do. I think it's the opposite problem this year, plus the safety room. How does a coach sort of navigate? Yeah, you want to have certain people out there in certain packages, but you have three corners that you probably maybe want on the field at all times. You have multiple safeties. How do you kind of navigate that, the talent versus the scheme, as you kind of go through that?
Back when I was in Green Bay, I think it was in 2014, we had a very, very talented secondary room. And I think out of that room, maybe through their career, 7 guys made Pro Bowls. You know what I'm saying? It was a very talented room. You had Micah Hyde, Casey Hayward, Sam Shields, Tramon Williams, Morgan. You had a ton of guys. And what I would go in there and tell those guys is the best guys play and the other guys will watch. And that's just what it is. So the guys that deserve to play, they'll go out there and play, and we'll put packages for people to get, guys on the field. But what I'm not going to try to do is to appease a guy, hurt the defense with trying to just get a guy on the field. No, get yourself into the package and you'll play, and we'll go from that standpoint there. So it's a good problem to have. But I'm not going to try to make somebody happy just to play them and hurt the defense. That's not going to be a part of what we do.
And Ben Standick asked that question, and I mentioned to Ben after the press conference, like, I really loved that question and Coach Witt's response, because I've been trying to wrap my head around the secondary, because there is a lot of talent there. It is not what it once was. It is different, right? So we're talking about one of the strengths of the Giants being their receivers. And many of the teams that the Commanders will face this year, that is a strength of theirs, the receivers. But specifically talking about the Giants, how would things mix and match? And of course, Coach Witt is not going to share any of that in a press conference or at all, right? But I was trying to figure out a good comparison of this secondary. So when Coach Witt, like many of the coaches do, immediately brought us back to the reminder of a team that he used to coach for, right? Or coach on, and at their height of success, had a mean secondary. And that was the 2014 Green Bay Packers. And when he started listing off those names, listen, I went complete sports nerd, like, yes, and yes, of course. Yeah, this is exactly what, not that I'm comparing players to any of those players, but when you think about the experience and the talent and the skill level and how that mirrors and maps to the opponent, I was like, oh, this is brilliant. Yes. Oh my goodness. So make notes. And that note is actually a good note for the whole season. All of these are good notes for the whole entire season, just saying. But make a note, because then when you come back to it, you'll say, oh yeah, talked about that week 1. Use your clues. Continuing on with this episode, as we are previewing things to look out for, all of the things as the Washington Commanders are taking on the New York Giants, Week 1, Northwest Stadium, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You all are watching from the Coach from the Couch series, the Washington Commanders Update. This is Bowie TV. I am your hostess with the mostest, Candi CWall Waller. Channels 190 and 1097 if you are a Comcast subscriber in the Prince George's County, Maryland area. And hopefully you all have subscribed to Bowie TV on YouTube. Let's keep it moving to the clips. I asked Coach Joe Witt Jr. about the linebackers and expectations for Week 1. Check out his response.
Can you share a bit about the linebacker position group and what you've seen from them through training camp and then, of course, expectations for going into the season?
You know, when you have Bobby and Frankie, leading the linebacker core, I mean, they're two of the best linebackers in the NFL. And so that's basically what you've seen is those two guys bonding together, working together. And then, Jordan missed a lot of training camp, but he has, when he comes back, he's just picked up where he left off, which was in a good place. And then we have the young guys, and the young guys are in a learning phase right now. And hopefully they won't have to get out there because we have the lead dogs playing.
Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu. Okay? Those two. Consistent. You already know what you got. And then there was always a lot of questions, right? There's also Nick Bellore, who's mostly, a special teamer. So keep that there from a linebacker position. Then there's always been a lot of questions around Jordan McGee. I asked Coach Quinn about Jordan McGee after preseason game 3. And one of the things that Coach Quinn brought up, which you heard Coach Witt bring up there as well, is yes, he's missed a lot of camp, but he's ready to roll. When he gets injured, he's resilient. He keeps a positive attitude, and he is ready to rock and roll for Week 1. So those who have been anticipating, wanting to see more of Jordan McGee, you will absolutely see him in Week 1. Also, for the younger guys, this becomes a El Cajo as well as a Kane Madrano, still in learning phase. And Coach Witt said, hopefully, you don't have to put them out there. It doesn't have to get to that place. But hey, there, of course, if you have to, you have to. But they are still in learning phase. So wanted to kind of understand, see where things are with the younger guys, and of course with their leaders in that position group on the team overall. So that's where that is. Now, Coach Witt was asked about finishing games. We know last season there were moments where the defense was just, they were doing all the things. They were holding up until they weren't. Right? That happened going back to Russell Wilson, that happened in the Steelers game. I think we saw it in Thursday Night Football in the first matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles. So you saw they were holding up until they just didn't. And so Coach Witt Jr. was asked about finishing games. Check this out.
Hey, Joe, over here. I know numerous times last year you expressed your frustration of not being able to finish games, getting off the field, fourth quarter, getting those turnovers. How's that become a point of emphasis over the last couple of weeks training camp, and what type of improvements do you think we're going to see with this defense getting off the field and finishing games?
Practice is practice, and we have to bring it to the field. But when we've had competition periods and done things such as that, we've done a really nice job. And so if we can do what we've done on the practice field on Sunday and on every game day, we'll be in the pocket that we need to be in. I've seen it in practice. Now we just have to do it in games. In practice last year, we weren't turning the ball over. We weren't beating the offense in those situations. It has been different this year.
So if you recall, if you've been watching, or if not, that's all good. A couple weeks ago, after the burgundy and gold scrimmage, I asked Coach Witt about what he had seen in his defense from the joint practice and then from the burgundy and gold scrimmage. And he said if the defense plays like it did in the burgundy and gold scrimmage, that's the way they're supposed to play. Being there, that was one of the things that I noted. The defense was on 1,000. I mean, yeah, for sure. And as soon as he responded to that question, I wanted to include it in the show because I thought it was such an important point, and it tied to what he had shared with me when I asked about the defense, within that past week, because I really felt strongly about what I watched in the burgundy and gold scrimmage was pretty high level football being played there. And I saw it in other spots in moments throughout training camp as well. But that scrimmage sticks out to me. Just whoa. So it feels like my thoughts are spot on. It feels like Coach Witt feels satisfied that he absolutely saw what it should be all the time, consistently in camp. So if he's seeing it in camp and going into practice and now going into the season, my thought process is, well, hey, it shouldn't do anything but improve, right? Guess we will see. Starting in week 1. Now, let's switch over to offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury. He certainly shared some important nuggets that I wanted to highlight in this episode. Let's start with his take on running backs. We know that there's been a lot of conversation around the running back room all throughout camp. We know that they've traded Brian Robinson Jr. They kept 4 running backs for the active roster, right? And it's, well, will all 4 of them dress? Will all 4 of them play? Is everybody going to play in week 1? Let's check out Cliff Kingsbury's response on the running back room here.
I mean, you get familiar with a few of the 4 running backs on the roster from last year, but new look room, first week, as you're going through a game, and one running back, let's say, has got to go in early. Like, are you a believer in a hot hand, like sticking with a guy that's looked good early, regardless of where they're on the depth chart?
Yeah, I think there's something to that. We have 4 guys that we feel really comfortable operating in really all phases of the game, and that's a great feeling as a play caller. And so I think all 4 have shown what we needed them to show this camp, to have all the faith in the world that any one of them can go out there and execute at a high level.
So he answered the question, which I thought it was an absolute fair, I thought it was a great question, thought it was an absolutely fair answer. It was like, yeah, there's something to that, but it's not like highlighting 1, 2, or 3, this person isn't dressing. They are ready to roll however it goes, and they're comfortable with all 4 guys. All 4 of them. So that's a great sign. What that signals to me is that they're not necessarily favoring one over the other. They're all great. And that's one of the things that I've been trying to share with the fan base. It doesn't have to be this one or that one. Everyone can be great. And in a ideal state, that is what you want for certain. So we'll see who all, how that all pans out and who all direct. We'll see. But still, good sign. Very, very good sign. A question that Nikki Javala asked Coach Kingsbury is something that we've been talking about all the time. You all have heard me talk about Noah Brown, who looks phenomenal. We know that he experienced injury. He's been, rehabbing. He has been at practice, is expected to be available, as is cornerback Jonathan Jones, who have been dealing with injury as well, but he's also expected to be available. Noah Brown has just this way of drawing PIs. So Nikki asked about that. Check out the response.
And then Noah Brown, just his ability to draw PIs. What is he doing that allows him to do that so often?
Yeah, he's one of the better route runners and technicians I've seen. I think he is so good at the top of routes and with his feet coming out of stuff that he gets up on guys and surprises them because he's so smooth in and out of transitions. And last year I thought he was really coming on, having a tremendous season, and then obviously the injury. But he's been great in camp, and so I'm excited to watch him play this year.
Write it down. Book it. Okay? Book it. Noah Brown, because he is just, I mean, you talk about the commander standard, you talk about the competitive nature in each one of these guys. And while he is, quiet, he's not really quiet, right? And he's just a warrior, he's just a competitor, and he's got it. He's got it, right? And so let's see what happens. Write his name down too, because I think we're all kind of like, Noah looks great. Like, whoa, all right. Right. The energy in the wide receiver room was like, yes, when everybody's out there now, you're like, yeah, now we see it. We see it all. We see the vision. It's real. So something to make note of. Another player that I will forever say I don't think gets enough credit. Nikki also asked about this. John Bates, tight end, John Bates. Let me say it again. Write it down. The extension of the offensive line. She asked about his blocking ability. Check it out.
What makes Sean Bates so good at blocking?
That's a great question. I think just the passion, determination to do it. He takes pride in that role. He could easily catch a lot more footballs than he does. I think he would in most offenses, but you have one of the great pass-catching tight ends in the league alongside him, and that takes away some of those targets. But just he has a want-to, a will, a desire, and there's nobody more respected in our locker room than John Bates because of that. I mean, we show those clips of him blocking in line every week, and it's one of our offense's favorite thing to watch. It's like how he gets after it up there. And so he's definitely gained a lot of big fans and respect within this organization because of the way he plays.
So the next time you hear somebody talking any crap about John Bates, you tell them what Cliff Kingsbury just said in that clip, okay? About how much John Bates is respected in that locker room. The offense loves watching clips of how he's blocking, what he's doing, what he's contributing. Look at how much he loves it. He enjoys it. Hey, no more John Bates slander. Okay? All right. And to close out this episode, I'm going to play a clip of my question to Cliff Kingsbury, where I simply asked what he is most looking forward to this season.
Hey, Coach. So for you, what are you most looking forward to in week one and in this season?
Really just getting this unit together and seeing how we play as a group. I like the additions we made. I've loved how we practice and how we've worked and the connection the guys have, but you just never know until you get out there. And it's a great challenge. I think Shane Bowen does a tremendous job on defense, and with those pieces they added, it should be a heck of a challenge for us to see kind of where we're at.
A heck of a challenge to see where they are at, right? It's week one. He again is talking about very similar to Coach Witt, right? If not almost verbatim the same words. They really liked how they practiced. And how you practice is how you play. So let's see how they play, shall we? Yes, indeed, we shall. Not much longer now, Commanders fans. Not much longer now. And if there's any Giants fans watching, not much longer for you all either. Okay? So you all, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a blast. Don't forget, lives the day after the game, 7:30 p.m., which means Monday, this coming Monday, 7:30 p.m., there will be a live on Bowie TV's YouTube channel. So check me out. We'll be recapping all of the things the game. You can also catch me. I believe we're going to do a live not immediately after the game, but also Sunday night at 8. So you'll be able to see me Sunday night at 8. You'll also be able to see me Monday at 7:30. And oh my gosh, how can I forget this? I also do a pregame. So tune back in. The pregame is typically an hour before the game. Now my schedule is all over the place. Either way, if you're subscribed to Bowie TV and you're locked in, you won't miss it. Trust me. So guess what, you all? We are here, week one. I'll be talking to you all again soon.